If I had to sum up the 2025 real estate market in one quote, it would be that everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. This train wreck of a year actually started with big hopes. After interest rates shot up fast in 2022 and 2023, we finally saw relief over 2024. Rates dropped a full 1.75%, and then we got another rate cut in January 2025. There was a lot of pent-up demand, buyers were ready, and sellers were optimistic. The story at the start of 2025 was, believe it or not, that of the comeback year. And then boom, Trump came back into office, tariffs, trade talks, America first policies, markets get shaky, confidence drop. That was the punch in the mouth. So now that the year is over, we can officially say this. 2025 had the fewest home sales in Toronto in at least 30 years. That's as far back as I can go with my monthly sales data. And sure, if you compare 2025 to 1996, the number of sales is only off by like a few hundred. But let's be real, Toronto today is nothing like Toronto 30 years ago. We have about 50% more people, way more condos and housing overall. So when you adjust for that, 2025 was actually much worse than 30 years ago. And when we look at the last 5 years of sales, there's still no real indication that activity is picking up. I mean, at least not yet. Now, add in everything else that happened in 2025, 4 interest rate cuts, which was, obviously overall positive for the market, I guess. But then a trade deal that never happened, layoffs across the country, AI threatening jobs in every industry, and the cost of living still climbing. So the Canadian economy and real estate never really settled, which means 2026 isn't about back to normal. It's about continued change. But in this video, I don't want to talk about the prediction of the future because I kind of did that in my last video. So today I want to talk about what we learned in 2025, what sellers learned, what buyers learned, and what I learned. So let's get into it. Here were the 3 main themes in 2025. So the first theme was that buyers were basically missing in action. Showings were down, offers were down, even the window shoppers disappeared. And when buyers disappear, the entire market changes a lot. Theme number 2 was that a home is actually only worth as much as a buyer is willing to pay. It's not about what your neighbor got a year and a half ago, and it doesn't matter that your type of home is rarely available. If there's only one buyer willing to buy your home, their offer is the market value. And theme number 3, real estate is not liquid. Even a good home at a fair price can take months to sell when buyers are scarce. Sometimes it's not the house, it's not the listing. Sometimes the buyer to buy your type of home in your neighborhood at your price just doesn't exist right now. And the only lever that you can pull to reach more buyers is lowering the price. And that's really unfortunate when a large buyer pool shrinks to just a bunch of minnows in a pond. So based on these themes, here's what sellers learned. Lesson number 1, chasing the market down hurts a lot. Chasing the market down is far more painful than choosing to sell low at the start. This often happens when sellers want to try a price, but overpricing can kill a listing before it gains any momentum. If the home values fall, you have to drop more than the market to meet buyers where the new values are. This results in feeling like you have no control over the market. Lesson number 2, sometimes the bird in the hand is the best deal. Waiting for something better that never comes can cost far more than people realize. Sometimes it's months until a similar but still low offer comes, and the market continues to shift, and all that additional time and energy is used for a result that may not even be as compelling. And the third lesson that sellers learned are that offers are king. Not showings, not open house traffic, not online views. Offers are the only thing that actually matter. And here are the things that buyers learned. Lesson number 1, they finally have negotiating power again. It's been so long since a buyer could advocate for their own protections and contemplate a home, not over one 15-minute showing, but over days and sometimes weeks, whether a house is what they want. And then they can add protections to ensure their due diligence on their new house. It's refreshing and healthy for the market again. Lesson number 2, stats don't matter nearly as much as motivation. Like I said, it doesn't matter what the home across the street sold for. It doesn't matter what an online estimator like House Sigma says. What matters is, does the seller really want to sell? And lesson number 3 is that you can't time the market. Every 3 months over the last 5 years felt like a different market. There were multiple great times to buy, and there will be more. The best time isn't about charts or headlines. It's about your life circumstances more than what charts and news headlines state. And of course, what I learned. First thing is that negotiation is completely different in a buyer's market. Yeah, the sellers still have some leverage. I mean, they know who's actually interested in their home, but the deals that are working right now are collaborative, transparent, and trust-based. In a seller's market, the listing agents are pushing buyers to pay more. But in a buyer's market, we focus on building trust with the buyer's agent so that trust transfers to that buyer. And that's how we get a buyer going from, I like that home to I want that home. The second thing I've learned is that no one truly knows what market value is anymore. I've stopped giving hard price predictions, especially far in advance for sellers. Instead, I focus on the price needed to attract offers, because offers, not opinions, set value. And finally, no one can change the market. In the past, waiting for the spring market or seasonal peaks made sense. But now, these rules of seasonality don't always apply. Sometimes yesterday's low price is today's high price, and waiting for the market to improve can potentially help or hurt just as much. So if there's one big takeaway for 2025, it's this. The market doesn't care about expectations. It doesn't care about what had happened in the past. What matters now is clarity and trust. And whether you're a buyer or a seller, the people who did best last year weren't trying to time the market or beat it. They were just trying to move on with their lives. And that's how I'm approaching 2026. Not with big predictions or hype, but with honest conversations, sprinkled in with a little bit of fact-based data. So that's it for me this month. My name is Jonathan Lee. I'm a Toronto area realtor based out of Etobicoke. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Cheers.